Bucket drumming is hands down one of my very favorite things to teach. These are so cheap and easy to find. They are virtually indestructible. I'm telling you, kids and even adults of all ages enjoy playing bucket drums, and here's the best part of all. You can literally sit down today and start playing this instrument without any kind of musical background. Welcome back to the channel. I'm Leanne, a homeschool mom of 2 kids and a music educator. Today, I'm going to show you all the basics of bucket drumming. So whether you're wanting to play this with your family or friends, or even teach it as a class activity, you will know how to get started after watching this video today. Also, be sure to check in the video description below where I'm going to be listing some of my favorite resources for bucket drumming. And while you're there, be sure to hit that like and subscribe button. All right, let's begin by naming the different parts of the bucket drum and also hearing the different sounds that they make. So here we have the sides of the drum, followed by the middle part, often referred to as the bass, then the rim, followed by the sticks. And similar to a normal drum set, each sound or place that you can tap is going to have its own tone quality or timbre. And I did want to mention, if you ever see a piece of music that is specifically written for the bucket drums, I'll put an example right here. Usually you will see the bass part written at the bottom, followed by the side, followed by the rim, followed by the sticks. Now they could be arranged in a slightly different order, but make sure that when you're looking at a piece of music like that, that you understand how the different parts are labeled. Next, let's talk about how you want to hold the sticks as you get ready for bucket drumming. So these are just regular cheap drumsticks. Any kind of sticks of a similar size will be just fine. And notice where I'm holding my hand, it's about 1/3 of the way from the bottom of the stick. All right, I'm going to point them in towards each other, kind of to make a V shape. Now, as far as the grip goes, you want to kind of look for that Goldilocks range of a firm yet relaxed grip. What happens is, if I'm gripping them really hard like this, first of all, I can't bounce as easily, and it's going to make my arms and my wrists really sore after a few minutes of playing. On the other end, I don't want to be so wiggly like a wet noodle and have one of my sticks accidentally go flying or get dropped. So I want to think about that Goldilocks zone right in between. I have a nice firm grip, yet my wrists are still plenty relaxed so that I can bounce off the drum as I tap. Another thing to mention before we start playing some patterns is you may be kind of sensitive to sounds yourself, or you might be teaching a particular child who is very sensitive to loud sounds on the drum. So all it requires is just find yourself a basic hand towel. I got these really cheap because I bought them in bulk. And if you lay it across the top of your bucket, that's going to solve some of your problems as far as the loud sounds that you're going to hear. So we're still getting a pretty nice tone quality, but we've just taken that volume level down just a bit. Now I want to demonstrate for you 4 different challenge levels of bucket drumming, starting with the most basic, which is keeping a steady beat on the drum. Now, if you watch any of my other videos about teaching music, you will hear me say this over and over. Steady beat really is a foundational music skill. It is not something to be ignored. It is not something for adults to think, oh, only little kids should be practicing a steady beat. No, we all need to practice until we really have it mastered. So think about it like this. You wouldn't just sit down and start trying to read a really difficult book without first practicing your ABCs, right? Well, this is a similar concept. You need to have a really good grasp on steady beat before you move on to more difficult rhythms. So pick your favorite background music. As long as it's got a nice repetitive beat in the background, you can grab your pair of sticks and you can start experimenting on different parts of the drum, keeping a nice steady beat. So for example, I'm going to tap 8 beats on the sides. Okay. Then I'm going to move to the middle. Remember, we call it the bass. Then to the rim, 8 beats. Followed by the sticks. Again, you can do that with your favorite background music, and you might want to experiment between alternating hands like I was doing, versus trying them hands together, still tapping a nice steady beat. Challenge level 2 is playing an ostinato, which is really just a fancy music word for a rhythm pattern that gets repeated over and over. And typically ostinatos are going to be pretty short, maybe only 4 beats or 8 beats. I will tell you one of the most famous ostinato patterns that everybody knows from the song We Will Rock You, right? There's your ostinato. You can start nice and simple like that. If you want to do more complex patterns, and especially if you're going to be teaching this to somebody else, children in particular, it can be really helpful to add words to the ostinato so they can be saying them in their head as they play. I'll give you an example. We're going to tap the ostinato that says peanut butter jelly, peanut butter jelly. And while I think those words in my head, I will practice the ostinato on different parts of my drum, like this. So you can see how just taking that short little rhythmic pattern, I was able to make a lot of different sounds on my bucket drum, and I could easily use this to accompany a recording. Challenge level 3 is going to be learning an entire bucket drumming routine to accompany a piece of music. Now I want to go ahead and pause to give a shout out to one of my favorite drumming teachers, Sammy Foster at bucketdrumming.net. And I'm going to be sure to link his YouTube channel right here so you can go check it out. I've used plenty of his resources in my classes before, and what I like is that he offers both a paid membership program, so you can get his monthly subscription, but he also has a ton of free videos on YouTube that you can just go learn for fun and check out yourself. So I really like all the technique videos. Everything that he has to offer on his website is great. Another thing, if you watch one of his videos, you'll see how he breaks it down. So like you learn part A of the piece and you practice that a few times. Then you learn part B or part C or however many sections individually before putting them all together. So we're working on things like musical form. What is the order of the music that you're going to play? Also, his videos are really great for people even who don't know how to read rhythms at all, because he will put the rhythms up on the screen that you're going to play, but you can simply learn the different sections just by imitating his motions. So that's what I really like. Now, if you're a little bit more old school music teacher, or you just want to be able to teach bucket drumming without using any background music, then I highly recommend this resource by Jim Solomon called Drum, D-R-U-M. And as he goes through the book, these are actually written for different percussion ensembles, but they can still be easily transferred to a bucket drum because you're going to take whatever instrument part it's labeled for and just play it on a different part of the bucket drum. I have found these really effective, again, for teaching kids because he always puts words to his ostinato patterns like I mentioned before. And he goes through how you can layer the different parts, how many players for each section. It's just a really good resource. Now we've come to the final challenge, level 4, and this is probably my favorite one, composing your own rhythm patterns for the bucket drum, because we just get to be creative here, right? No one's going to tell us that this is the right or wrong way to do it because it's entirely based on what we like to play or how we like to play. So if you already have some musical background and you know how to draw out different rhythm patterns, you can certainly do that on a piece of staff paper like I showed you at the beginning of the video. But here's the good news, even if you know nothing about musical rhythm, but you remember those terms for how we labeled the drum, you could use different letters to write out a description of what you're playing. B for bass, S for side, R for rim, and then you can just make a letter X to show when you want the sticks to cross because that's how they tap, right? So let me show you an example. I want to come up with an 8-beat piece that I'm going to play on the drum, and I'm going to label how I do it. So maybe I start with 4 counts on the bass. 1, 2, 3, 4. Then for my next set of 4 beats, I want to play like this. Rim, 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 stick, stick, stick. So I'm going to write that out. I can either write the actual rhythms that I'm playing or I can just label them with letters. Let's hear it again. Okay, so I've already got part A of my own composition. Now part B, I want to make it sound a little bit different because I haven't used the sides of the drum yet. So let me think about a part B and jot it down. Side, 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 stick, 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 stick. Side, 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 stick, 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 stick. I feel like when I'm doing this activity with kids, it almost always involves some kind of motion besides just the typical tapping patterns. So here's a chance for you to be creative with your own ideas or to ask the group of people that you're playing with for input on how they would like to play, and then you have a chance to practice writing it down and coming up with a final composition. Now, I feel like this really just needs to be said. The main goal of bucket drumming is to have fun. Yes, we want to learn good technique. Yes, we want to eventually work on reading those different rhythm patterns, but overall, we should just be having fun and enjoying playing this instrument. So whether you're doing this by yourself or with a group of people, or whether you're teaching it, let's promote creativity. Let's promote experimenting with different sounds and ideas, and you will find that you have a lot more fun doing it that way. I hope this video has been super helpful. If you have any specific questions, please be sure to drop those in the comments below. And until next time, happy music making.